We're back with sports with Ron Zuke. Al Foster has the weekend off, but we're going to talk about the NHL draft.
A busy day in the NHL. Always a fun time for the young players in the country.
Right.
And some local boys were picked as well, so we'll get to that.
Tell us the story.
Thanks, Diane. It was draft day in the NHL today. St. Louis played host to hockey's annual crapshoot for the third time in 5 years. The Ottawa Senators had the first pick overall, and GM Pierre Gauthier surprised no one when he stepped up to the podium.
Senators select from the Canadian Hockey League Prince Albert Raiders, Chris Phillips.
Phillips, a native of Fort McMurray, Alberta, was the youngest member of the 1996 national junior team that won the World Championship. He also won the Canadian Hockey League's Top Draft Prospect Award and was named the WHL's Rookie of the Year. Next up, the San Jose Sharks took Russian defenseman Andrei Zuzin. He's considered the most skilled blue liner in the draft. Third pick went to the Islanders. They took Quebec forward Jean-Pierre Dumont. Washington Capitals would use the fourth overall pick to take second-ranked Russian center Alexander Volchkov. He played with Barrie in the OHL this past year. And rounding out the top five, Dallas took D-man Richard Jackman right here from Sault Ste. Marie. Now, the former Winnipeg Jets made their first pick as the Phoenix Coyotes. General Manager John Paddock made the announcement.
Amateur Hockey League Tri-City Americans, Dan Folk.
Well, they go for the big defenseman, Dan Folk from the Tri-City Americans, 6'6". They don't get too much bigger than this. And that, by the way, is not the sweater of the Phoenix Coyotes.
Thank goodness.
Coyotes actually had two first-round picks, and 24th overall they took Drummondville center Daniel Briere. He's only 5'9", but believe me, he has great hands and good wheels. A couple of Brandon Wheat Kings were drafted today. Darren Van Owen was selected in the second round by the Buffalo Sabres, 33rd overall, while Winnipegger Corey Seren was taken in the 8th round by San Jose. A couple of rural Manitoba kids were drafted as well. Swift Current Broncos goalie Terry Friesen from Winkler was also drafted by San Jose, 3rd round. And Portage native Aaron Asham from the Red Deer Rebels was a 3rd round selection of the Montreal Canadiens. Just before we tell you about some of the trades from today, it sounds like the St. Louis Blues are ready to re-sign Wayne Gretzky. The Great One's agent, Mike Barnett, has been in negotiations with the Blues, and they are apparently close to signing a 2-year, $14 million deal. Now some trades to tell you about from the draft. Phoenix Coyotes acquired veteran forward Mike Gartner from the Leafs. Toronto got a 4th round pick and unloaded a big contract at the same time. Leafs also shipped veteran Dave Gagne to Calgary for a 3rd round draft pick. Gagne slated to make $1.5 million this coming season. In a swap of top-notch defensemen, the Pittsburgh Penguins sent Sergei Zubov to the Dallas Stars for Kevin Hatcher. Tampa Bay Lightning and New Jersey Devils exchanged backup goalies today. Devils sent Corey Schwab to Tampa for Jeff Reese. And Sean McEachern goes from Boston to Ottawa for Trent McCleary. Bombers were back home today after ending the preseason with a last-second win at Edmonton last night. Troy Westwood's 4th field goal of the night with no time left gave the Bombers a 34-31 win over the Eskies. Reggie Slack led the come-from-behind victory after he took over for a relatively ineffective Kent Austin. Slack scored the tying touchdown on a 2-yard run with 7 minutes left and also threw a 21-yard scoring pass to Gerald Wilcox. The regular season kicks off tomorrow. Calgary visits Saskatchewan. We'll have highlights tomorrow. Bombers open their season in Calgary next Saturday. Winnipeg Goldeyes are trying to find a winning formula on the road as they continued a weekend set in Sioux City. And the score just in extra innings, the Fish get a win as they came from behind to beat Sioux City 6-5. In the majors, the Red Hot Blue Jays were looking for their 6th straight win this afternoon in Oakland. Jays sent young Marty Jansen to the hill this afternoon, and Cito Gaston didn't like what he saw from the youngster in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Rafael Bordegal would step up with the bases juiced, slams one to left, and Joe Carter misjudges it. It gets over his head. The double would clear the bases, and Oakland jumped out to a 3-0 lead. Toronto would get a couple of those runs back in the top of the 4th inning. Ed Sprague continues to hit the ball well. He strokes one to left, a 2-run homer, career high, number 19 for Sprague on the season, and it's 3-2. Jays down by 1, but in the bottom of the 4th inning, Oakland would get one of those back. Torey Lavello will put it through the hole at short, and that would bring home the 4th A's run. Toronto would battle back to tie it up. Let's move to the 5th inning. Carlos Delgado at the plate. He goes to right with a broken bat single. but Oakland would go on to win this game 8-4. Over in the National League, the Expos' FP Santangelo does his best to get the Expos going with this diving grab in center. Not bad, but the Cards had the bats going tonight at the Big O. Ray Langford cracks a 2-run dinger. This one takes an hour to come down. It eventually does. Cards are on top. Willie McGee has a couple RBIs in the bag. Well, he'll drive in a couple more here. The Cardinals routed the Expos big time tonight. 9-4 was the final. Meanwhile, the Atlanta Braves looking to move 4.5 up on the Expos with a win over the Giants. Ryan Klesko helps out the cause with a triple. Freddie McGriff chugs his way in to score. Klesko legs it out and gets to third. And the way Greg Maddux was pitching tonight, 1 run was enough. The Braves blanked the Giants 6-0. The second annual Nicky Redekop Memorial Co-ed Beach Volleyball Tournament was held at the Melrose Park Community Center this afternoon. 20 teams competed in the tournament in memory of Redekop, who died of cancer 2 years ago. Nicky played 2 years with the University of Winnipeg Lady Westmen and was a member of a senior women's team at the time of her passing. Over $1,500 was raised today, and the Manitoba Volleyball Association was pleased with the day.
Well, she was such a great player and just a great person that it's nice to be able to raise some money and have some fun with some people. And we send all the kids, we raise money to send all the kids to summer volleyball camps around the province. So just a good chance to get outside and play some volleyball on the beach.
The Children's Hospital Soccer Tournament is on this weekend at John Bloomberg Soccer Complex. 127 teams are taking part in the weekend event. The playoffs are on the schedule for tomorrow, with action beginning bright and early at 8:30. In NBA news, Sir Charles may be on the move from Phoenix. Reports say he may be moving to the Big D. 2 newspapers say there's been trade talk between the Dallas Mavericks and the Phoenix Suns. 2 Dallas sources were quoted as saying Barkley would go to the Mavs for guard Jimmy Jackson and Dallas's first-round pick in Wednesday's NBA draft. So we'll wait to see if that comes true with Sir Charles, perhaps on the move, but he says he wants to play for a contender. But who doesn't?
We'll see what happens. And there was a lot happening tonight.
You bet.
Anyways, thanks, Ron, and thank you for joining us. That's all the time we have, everyone. Ron and I will see you back here tomorrow night at 10. Take care.
Good night.